Is Richard. Today is the 8th of October 2023 and I'm going to be making my weekly prediction for Tesla. As usual, we'll go over the monthly, weekly, and finally the daily charts, and then I'll give my overview of the prediction. It's important to make the disclaimer that all information in this video is completely educational, and therefore it's important to conduct your own technical analysis before entering any position in the market to avoid unnecessary risk. And now that we have the disclaimer out of the way, let's get into the video. So first we'll go over the monthly charts. We can see that the months of July, August, and September were significantly, non-directional because we had relatively small bodies, spinning top, and hanging man patterns. So there's no directional view that Tesla has or directional momentum for the last 3 months. However, this month may be subject to change. So we can already see that in the current month there is a large body. However, there's ample amount of time before this month ends, so it's rash to make predictions off of a month that hasn't actually closed yet. But from the current chart, we can gauge that, there's no direction, and we simply have to be more careful until there is a candle that clearly says that this is the direction that Tesla is going in. The volume is pretty stationary, although it's significantly lower from this month here, which is very, very bullish. But again, no clear signal from the monthly charts other than the RSI going slightly upwards, maybe showing that there is a possibility that the market reverses upwards. So let's head now to the weekly charts where we can see some of this price action in more detail. So last week we saw that there was a sort of not spinning top, but basically a non-directional candle. Since there was a break of this support, but then it got pulled back up. And this week we can see is nearly at the resistance. Since there is a strong bullish momentum this week for Tesla, the volume was pretty much the same from last week, showing that there is a consistent upwards green and bullish momentum on high volumes. We can see from the RSI that the RSI is also going upwards, so this is a confirmation of this movement that we're seeing so far. So just from the weekly charts alone, we can immediately see one thing, that our resistance has to be this point here. But if we're being a little bit more conservative, we can even take it as the high at 263.60, which might actually be a better option because this current range or this resistance here is pretty negligible, and taking a slightly higher resistance will allow us to be more accurate with our prediction. So we will take the high of the candle as the resistance for this week, and we take our support at pretty low, at the low of the candle, because there's a strong green candle this week. So we are pretty convinced that the market should go upwards unless there is a very significant event, in which case then the support needs to be low so that when it does break, we have a strong indication that the market is going in that direction, which is what taking the support at 242.62 will do. So now let's head over to the daily charts and conclude the technical analysis for Tesla this week. We can see that here we had a strong green candle, then an inside bar, which was then broken on the 4th of October, and then we had a doji candle, but then we had actually a gap down, and then the market went upwards and it filled the gap. So we do have bullish signals throughout the day, the week as well. We can see that the RSI did actually cross from below to above here, and then continue to stay pretty stagnant, but it did cross, so that is a very strong bullish signal as well on that part. So that basically concludes our prediction for Tesla, which is that there's a high likelihood that the market goes up, so the resistance is pretty conservative and close to the current spot price, since it is best to capitalize on any price action, whereas if the market does go down, then there is a lower probability and therefore a much lower support line in order to make sure that there are no whipsaws. And on that note, I would like to conclude this video, and I'll see you next week where I make my new prediction for Tesla. But until then, thank you for watching and enjoy.